Hello, I'm Dr. Dale Caldwell. Welcome to Family Business World. I have Gail Friedberg Rottenstrich. Gail, how do you pronounce the last name?
Rottenstrich.
Rottenstrich, and she's the CEO of ZAGO Manufacturing, and welcome. I'm so happy to have you here today. I want to begin and just say, what does your business do? What business are you in?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here today. Our business, ZAGO Manufacturing Company, manufactures self-sealing fasteners and sealing switch boots. Self-sealing fasteners are screws, nuts, and bolts that have a groove that holds a sealing element, an O-ring made of different materials. And then we also make what are called switch boots, which are covers for boots. And we also make covers for circuit breakers and other electrical products.
So the amazing thing is, as I work with a lot of family businesses, I run the Rothman Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Fairleigh Dickinson University, and it's amazing that so many of the businesses are really successful because they focus on small things. They focus on things that nobody even knows what they are, but there's a big market. And so tell me, what's the history of the company? When was it founded? How did you get into this business?
So originally, my husband worked for a company that did something similar, but he wanted to strike out on his own.
Okay.
This was 1992, 1993 was when we were planning it. And we formed the business in 1993. We started in the business incubator of the New Jersey Institute of Technology.
Oh, good.
And they provided us wonderful assistance. And we worked together on it. My background is legal. I went to law school. I practiced law for many years.
Oh, wow.
So I did the incorporation. I did the original documents that we used, ordered all the initial inventory, and worked with him to get the business up and running. Made the arrangement with NJIT, and then he was our only employee, working in the company. I would work at night, but during the day I would support us working as a lawyer.
Well, and so let's explore that, because I haven't had too many guests on my show that started out with a university incubator, which more and more are springing up. How does an incubator work? How did it work? How did you get accepted to it? And when you were first starting, what did you do in the incubator?
So we searched a few different incubators. I believe there was one at Stevens at the time also, and we put in applications. We had to submit a business plan, and show, that we had the knowledge and the wherewithal to at least make an initial go of it. So we were able to demonstrate that. Working with the NJIT Business Incubator was, an incredible gift to us because they gave us space at a reduced cost. We got secretarial services. But most importantly, we got advice from a gentleman named Jim who just, we could turn to for business questions and anything that we really needed. So they really were a very nurturing institution for us. We were there for about 5 years. Actually, we have a plaque from them from when we graduated, and it's an egg in a nest. And it just shows the care that they gave us as we were starting out as a young company.
Excellent. Is Jim still working at NJIT now?
No, he passed away a good few years ago. He was an older gentleman with lots of wisdom and lots of experience.
Do you remember his last name? Jim?
I don't. Okay. I wish I did.
Well, yeah, because we like to honor folks, and I like to honor founders of businesses, people who played a critical role. So, and this is because a lot of startups watch this show, and a lot of people want to know, well, how do I get to where she is? And so what was your first product? What was the first thing when you went to the incubator? What were you had a business plan. Was it this particular, or were you this particular the thing that you're in now, or something different?
Yeah, well, it was the sealing fasteners.
Okay, the sealing fasteners, okay.
Yeah, we started out just with an inventory of the screws, the most basic product, that's a stock product. We didn't start out doing any kind of custom products. That was something we got into later. It was just We had inventory of the things that we knew we could sell.
But now, how did you know there was a market? There's going to be a market for that. What kind of research did you do?
Some experience in the business.
And so, was it that other businesses just weren't making enough of them, or what was your unique selling proposition?
Well, yeah, there was only a couple of companies in that business, and we felt that the market, just could be grown.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been doing over the last 27 years, is growing that market, bringing more awareness to the product.
Wow.
And showing companies, that they need this screw, this sealing fastener, not a regular fastener, something that's going to do double duty by holding things together, but also keeping things inside, keeping liquids and gases inside, keeping environmental contaminants out.
Right. Now, do you have a patent on this? Is this something patentable or not?
No, this is a fairly old product. It was developed during World War II.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting. So for those that don't understand, I try to relate to the audience for people that say, okay, well, this sound, what is it? What does it do? What does it actually do? The sealing fastener.
What it does is, this isn't a structural product. Like, we do make some very big nuts and bolts and screws, but most of them are small. And what they do is, the sealing element, when you screw it in, it creates a complete seal. When you have a regular fastener, you can have leaks of oil, or you can have gases leak out.
Oh, really?
Or you can have things go into the machinery that you're trying to seal. So with this, you have a complete seal. It keeps the pressure in.
Okay.
So it just completely seals the product.
Well, that is phenomenal, and it's fascinating, and that's so often, I see young entrepreneurs and they want to start, they want this big glamorous product, something everybody sees, and there are a million other people doing it, but they want to be the best. But it's really finding that niche. What are some of the lessons you've learned? Some of the hard knocks you and your husband have had as you've gone through this process that you wish you knew when you started?
Well, I mean, the most important lesson is just to always be listening to your customer.
Yeah.
And it's not that there are hard knocks, but no business runs perfectly. There's always going to be issues. Hopefully you're going to minimize them as time goes on. Hopefully the mistakes you make, you'll make once, you won't make twice.
Right.
But if you're always listening to your customer and working with your customer, even if you have a problem, even if a product doesn't work exactly as the customer had hoped, by listening to the customer and working with the customer, you can create, even when there's a problem, you can create a relationship of trust that can make that customer an even more loyal customer, because they know, you're not just there when things are good, but that you're also going to be there for them when things aren't working so well. And that you're going to make that your highest priority. I mean, I think that was the biggest lesson that we've learned over the years. Some of the customers that we had our biggest issues with have been, our most loyal, longstanding customers.
It's funny you say that. It seems, and again, I've experienced and talked to a lot of people. A lot of times, the people that give you the hardest time, if you satisfy their need, become your best customers, the long-term customers. A lot of people that buy from you initially that are all excited from day one don't necessarily last as long. It's really interesting. And the other thing I was going to say, that Stephen Covey Jr., the son of the famous speaker, the guy who did 7 Habits, has a book called The Speed of Trust. I don't know if you've heard of that. But he talks about the fact that trust, whether it's between employees, between customer, B2B, that trust is so critically important. So what you said really resonates, that you really have to have trust with your customers and really listen to the customer. So I
think very important also to just take responsibility. To be very direct and honest with the customer. This is what happened. This is our plan to fix it. And the customers who are, the most exacting and the most demanding, are the ones that you end up developing the best relationships with, because they know you're gonna meet their needs.
Right.
That's your highest priority.
So, one of the things, and that's such a great lesson, but that's a family business lesson. One of the things I find that family businesses put the customer first. It almost seems like the bigger a business, the less they put the customer first. And I won't name another, big chain store, but you go to them, and I just yesterday was returning something to a big, a big store, home repair store, and I bought a blower, this big blower with with a backpack, and I opened it. Took a long time to put the thing together, and then the battery was defective. So I went back to the store, and they said, well, why didn't you bring the whole thing? I said, it took me time if I had to take it apart, put it in, and bring it back in, I would charge you for the labor cost. So they finally replaced, but it wasn't like, it's our mistake, the battery didn't work, let's just replace it. And they've made a lot of money because they haven't been closed during the pandemic and others. And so that's why one of the reasons we do this show is to really support businesses like yours, these family, small businesses that put the customer first. And so it's just so great to hear you say that. Are there any big major companies that are competitors, or is it just some smaller companies?
Just smaller companies, basically. Yeah, other smaller businesses.
And your customer base, is it national, international, New Jersey? Where are your customers?
Yeah, all of the above. I would say about 10% of our customer base is international.
Okay. Wow.
The rest is national. We have a lot of customers in New Jersey. We have a lot of customers that are military and aerospace, and they're all over the country. A lot, in the Massachusetts area, the New England area, Florida, California, Texas.
And what's your plan to market? How do you market to those businesses? What do you, how do you get to certain regions of the world?
Well, how don't we market? That's really, we go out, in, all different areas. I mean, obviously the internet has been the most, where we've invested the most time and resources, and, in the last 20 years since the internet has been a thing. We've spent a lot of time developing, an attractive, very user-friendly website, Google Ads. We do, print, we do press, press releases. We've gone to trade shows a lot, but, obviously this year isn't for that.
Right.
And we do outreach in all different ways, not just directly to the customers. We do, constant contact. We're always, in contact with our customers. But we also do things that are not necessarily product related, but community related, to show that we're a company that, cares about our community as well. And that, that you market yourself as humans,
right.
As humans marketing to humans.
No, and that's wonderful. I the way that family businesses give back to the community, the way they treat their employees, is really one of the special things about working with family businesses. So in a minute, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll come back after the break. I know you have a couple pictures we want to see, and I want to talk a little more about your involvement in the community and some of the things you do for your employees. So
great.
We'll take a break right now.
Okay.
So I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Why buy local? When you shop with local businesses, you're spending your money on more than just the item you're buying. You're adding a building block to your neighborhood. It starts with a single purchase, maybe a cup of coffee, groceries from a local co-op, or even a shiny new bicycle from one of the nearly 28 million small businesses nationwide. Your money doesn't stay in the till for long though. Local business owners use the money to create a lot of economic activity in your neighborhood, like buying from suppliers, many of whom are also local businesses. Paying taxes to the city, which builds and maintains the infrastructure we all rely on. Employing local workers, contributing to 65% of the net new jobs each year. Add this all together and you've got a recipe for a happier, healthier, more connected neighborhood. Now that's an investment worth making.
Welcome back to Family Business World. Again, I'm Dr. Dale Caldwell, and just continuing our conversation after the break. I know your dad wasn't officially in this business, but you had just said your dad was really, really important in really helping to mentor, especially after coming out of the incubator. So tell me about your dad. What kind of business did he have, and just hear a little about him.
Oh, my dad had a very colorful business career. He started out as a shipping clerk, never went to college, worked in a jewelry store, and when they were selling jewelry, they were also putting records in the window of the jewelry store. It was on Canal Street in New York City. And they found that the records were selling better than the jewelry, so he and the gentleman he worked for decided to get into the record business, and they became a big record merchandiser. But unfortunately, they made one of the mistakes that we have been very careful not to make, which was that most of their business, 80% of their business, was tied up with one customer. And that customer filed for bankruptcy.
Wow.
And my dad's business, folded as well. He never filed for bankruptcy, but his business folded. And then he actually got involved in doing liquidations. Some of the big chain stores that went out of business in the late 70s and early 80s, he did liquidations for. But, he just sort of kept on rolling. He did that. He bought closeouts. He did whatever he could do. And he did well for himself despite the setbacks, which is, really important that you just keep going despite setbacks. But he gave us, just invaluable advice. But probably the most important thing I learned was never get too tied up in just one customer. So we don't have any one customer that's more than like 4 or 5% of our sales. We can lose our biggest customer, and as heartbreaking as it would be, it wouldn't really affect our day-to-day operations or our cash flow.
Well, that's tremendous advice, and to see, most entrepreneurs, what the number is, they fail 2 or 3 times before they hit that, if they ever hit that big opportunity. And I wrote a book called Intelligent Influence, which is all we're products of our influence, and so everybody can trace it back to positive or even negative influence. So it's wonderful that your dad and helped you and your husband in this business. So we're going to tee up in a second a few of the pictures, and so talk a little bit about the. I know we have a picture of your team. How many people are employed by the business?
We have 22 employees.
Oh, wow! Well, here's a picture now that's very, very colorful. I like the red and the blue. 22 employees.
Thanks so much.
Is that just a team picture, or what's the history behind that picture?
Yeah, no, we just wanted to make sure to get a picture of everybody. We use that on our website and our marketing, and display it. We're very proud of our team. And putting together a good team that is something that doesn't happen overnight. Yep. I think the hardest aspect of business is hiring. Yep. I don't think we have any challenges that are harder. And it's over time, you find people and you keep people. I think, with hiring, unfortunately, the motto fail fast is important. Mm-hmm. If someone's not working out, you just have to acknowledge reality and move on. It's better for both parties. But I've also likened it to a slot machine, right, where you kind of keep rolling each number, and then you land on the right one, and and if you do that enough times over enough years, you get a tremendous team together. And that's what we have now. We have an amazing team, the best team we've had since we've been in business, and it's such a pleasure. Everyone who we work with, and they're so committed to the company and to our customers, and that's why we're able to provide like the great customer service that we do. We have, every employee is just really committed and cares.
Well, one of the things I've learned in doing a lot of work with family businesses is that I'm convinced that the best place to work, not only in America but in the world, is with a family business. It's better than working in government. It's better than working in big corporations. It's even better than working in nonprofits, because once you do a good job for the family, you become family, right? Yes. And you're treated like family. So tell me a little bit about that. Tell me about the family, the extended family of ZAGO.
Well, this is a very hard time. for our employees and their families. We're in a little bit better place now, but in March, we had employees who lost, mother, father,
Wow.
brother.
Wow.
We only had one employee who was sick with COVID, and we kept him out, for over a month, paid him for every minute he was out of work, and that's our policy. Everybody knows you don't come to work sick, you're going to get paid if you stay home, and we take care of everybody like family, the way, we want our children treated. And we have one son who works in the business, but, the way we want our family treated, that's how we treat our employees. We haven't had anyone come to work sick because they know they can stay home. There's no questions asked. We trust them. They trust us to keep them safe. It's a time when you really find out how important, being a family is when you're in a family business.
So, Gail, you're telling me that you don't need the government to tell you how to treat your employees? Is that what you're telling me? This, I'm joking. I'm actually an elected official. Okay.
In addition to being the CEO.
I am too. Believe it or not, I'm on the school board, but.
Oh, and I'm the deputy mayor of Fairlawn.
Oh, you are? Okay, good. Good.
So I have no, I wish that, other companies didn't need the government to tell them, you need to pay a fair wage, a living wage. We provide health insurance for our employees. We think that's really important, that, they don't have that big worry, what am I going to do if I get sick, if my child gets sick,
Exactly.
We take care of so many things so that when our employees come to work, they can focus on work. They're not always stressed about everything else in their life, and we think that that's really important to success of a business. And I wish other companies, and a lot of companies do. A lot of companies in New Jersey do take that to heart. That's why this is a good place to do business. I'm also on the board of the New Jersey Manufacturers Extension Program, so I'm involved in manufacturing. The manufacturing business in New Jersey, and I just think that this is a great place to do business.
Well, I just last week had an article published in ROI talking about healing the divide in America with entrepreneurship, and the whole idea is that there are very few issues, and really almost no issues where the 70 million on either side agree. Healthcare, the Supreme Court. You just go to education, you go down the list, there's a divide. But, I've talked to both conservative and very liberal people about entrepreneurship, and that's really the history of America, is really building around entrepreneurship. So I think there's some commonality that we can have around entrepreneurship, and really support entrepreneurship. And you're right. There are a lot of businesses most of the family businesses I know and I work with who can afford it, treat their employees better than government treats employees. Most of the people I do. Now, there's some who have margins that are so slim that it's hard for them to do that. And you look at restaurants now. I mean, there's no way restaurants who've been closed can actually do that. And so I believe that we should really kind of force a minimum, kind of a living wage, but on big companies. That big companies should be forced to do that because they're not. And so, but some small companies just can't afford that. So it's what you're doing is so wonderful. But we've got to save small businesses. And there's really kind of an assault on both sides against small businesses. And so, I'm down the middle of the road. I'm not, and I think too often we have this political divide. This idea that, okay, which side are you on? Or which side are you on? Instead of, no, I'm on the side of what makes sense. And I wish we could do that. And it sounds like you're kind of there too.
Well, I do honestly believe that there's a lot more that we all agree on than that we disagree on.
I hope
it's
so.
all in, kind of the talking points of it. But, certainly we can all agree that, small businesses are the backbone of America. I spent a lot of time also as deputy mayor, promoting the small businesses that we have in our town.
Good.
And, asking people to, frequent our small businesses. And, that's been a really big program for us. And I think it's helped. We've seen very few businesses close. I'm concerned about, going forward this winter. And I think it's going to be a hard winter, but, you know, we can all get behind our, you know, small family businesses. You know, every dollar you spend in the community, you know, it just, you know, creates more dollars, you know, rather than sending it out to, you know, buying from a big company like Amazon, or, you know, getting the delivery from, you know, Whole Foods. If you buy in your local grocery store, you're just doing so much more for your community.
And that's what we're really kind of supporting that and preaching that, you know, paying money for the local business, that stays in. Now, who's paying the Little League fees? Who's paying the local community stuff? The Kiwanis Club, the Rotary Club. It's those small local businesses. And I think we need to kind of get away from partisanship and really begin to say that that it really is about the community. And again, I have nothing against, you know, the big box stores or others.
Yeah, no, neither do I.
But I believe what I call democratic capitalism, and not plutocratic capitalism. That just because you're big and you have money to hire lobbyists in Washington, D.C., you shouldn't get special breaks. You know, it really should be a democratic capitalistic, you know, system that, you know, that both sides can agree that you can really help businesses become successful. And so, you know, I love what you're doing there. And then the whole idea, well, manufacturing's dead. There's no manufacturing in the United States, in New Jersey, but there's a lot of manufacturing. Talk to me about that. There's a lot of manufacturing in America.
Yeah, I mean, we sell our products to manufacturing companies. I mean, we sell to distributors who sell to manufacturers, and we sell directly to, you know, original equipment manufacturers, OEMs. And there are so many manufacturers in the United States, and they are making the most innovative, interesting products. Every day we learn about a new company making a new product, you know, that uses our parts, and it's inspiring, it's fascinating, it's very, you know, encouraging about, you know, where we're going. So, you know, manufacturing is far from dead in the United States,
Absolutely.
but it definitely, you know, needs help, you know, it needs encouragement.
And that's absolutely right. I mean, you know, I've had so many people on my show who are New Jersey manufacturers who are among the best in the world at what they do. So unfortunately, you know, the 30 minutes goes so quickly. We're at the end of time. So Gail, I just want to thank you so much for all that you're doing. Congratulations to you and your husband on your success. And if we can help you at the Rothman Institute in any way we can, well, you know, let us know. So thank you all, and I thank the audience. Again, this is Family Business World. I'm Dr. Dale Caldwell. We will see you at our next show. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.